So, you know how things happen in relationships where, you break up and you find yourself homeless and you find yourself trying to figure out what went wrong. He did that, she did that. Well, back in 1990, I had the opportunity, I was an art dealer. I used to go to people's homes and do art shows. And there would be anywhere between 5 and 25 women in a place, and I was the only man. And I did an art show, and Bettye was one of the guests. And so she asked me to come over to the house and do some things, to do like wall designs, to look at her artwork and kind of like do some framing. And so I'm going over another customer's house, and I'm saying, well, you might be the last customer because I'm getting ready to leave New Jersey to go to Chicago. I didn't have a place to stay, and I got all my money together, $2,000, and I had a van loaded with my furniture and all my worldly possessions on my way to Chicago. And so I was talking to her and telling her that my son, who was still here in New Jersey, was telling me that he didn't want me to go to Chicago because he thought he would never see me again, and he would be like all the other kids where the father left and didn't come back, and it would just be another typical father-son relationship. And I had a conversation with Bettye, and she told me, she says, you really need to be here for your son. She said, you need to stay here because too many black fathers leave their sons, they never come back, and it's just another statistic. And so I said, and she said, well, take that $2,000 and you promised you would take him to Disney World. Disney World. And so I took the $2,000 I had to go to Chicago and took the $2,000 and went to Orlando because Bettye convinced me that it would be better for my son to be able to have me here as a father versus an absentee dad. And I'd say, well, Bettye, I don't have a place to stay because I moved out and I don't have a place and I got nothing. This is all the money I have in my name. And she says, well, go to Orlando, and when you come back, I'll let you stay in my basement. And she let me come and stay in her basement for nothing until I could get on my feet. And she let me stay from that place. I moved to another place, and moved to another place, and moved to another place. And since I had all of these experiences with relationships, I became a relationship expert for the last 20 years. I've been on television, finishing up a book. I got 2 master's degrees and finishing up my PhD. I'm doing all this, and when Bettye met me, I didn't have a whole window, hot window, or nothing. I was in the middle of a relationship. So I flew in from LA. I live in Beverly Hills. I flew in this morning. I'm leaving tomorrow morning. And I actually had a privilege to give you, Bettye, I have an opportunity, you ever heard The Secret, where they're doing something like that on relationships. And there's a guy from Singapore who's interviewing me. And he came in this weekend and says, I need to interview you before I go back to Singapore. And I said, if you got to do it on Saturday, I can't do it. And he says, I'll stay here till Monday to do the interview because I said I have to come here and see Bettye Hooks. So I flew in with her and lived with her. And I know she knows what I think about her. And so it's not like I'm saying this for her. I'm saying this because I want everybody else to know this woman took almost a complete stranger off the street to help me and my son build our lives all over there, and it really paid off. And the last thing, we have an exercise when we do seminars. And one of the exercises is that if you really want to know who your friends are and people are in your life, we have 3 categories. The first one is an acquaintance. That's somebody you see at work and you might not ever see them again. And when you leave the job, they're gone. The second category are friends. Those are people that you probably would invite to weddings or something like this, and they'll come because they know you would have a relationship with them. And you probably have a few of them. But the last category are the people who are intimates. Those are the people that know where the bodies are buried. Those are the people that you would invite, to surgery. Those are the people that would travel across country. And those are the people that you stay in touch with for a lifetime. And most of the people, when you do this seminar, don't have 5 people on a list. They can actually call intimates. So my daddy told me, he said, I had all these friends as a high school, got all these friends. And he said, son, if you don't remember anything else I tell you, you will live a lifetime and you will never, all your friends, you will never have to use your fingers to count all your friends. Bettye Hooks is one of those fingers on my hand.
All right.